So we're going to bring up Nadar. There's a lot of scrying here. Precipitous drop looks good, fly looks good. Get rid of that. See what we get. Temple of Enlightenment. We're going to ditch it. Okay, we'll just stay put. And we're not going to do anything further except attack with these two, which are big trouble for them because this creature dies if it blocks and both stay alive. So we're just going to go for it. Yeah, we'll bring in Hama too, why not? And now we get to play something. And we're going to kill that. And that's the game. They're going to fold. And that is how you become a dungeon master. Hey, welcome to Menacing MTG. We have a really focused dungeon deck here. And it's I'm gonna go so far as to call this a budget deck. Now, that is not a true statement, as we have a lot of rare lands in here. But you could do it without, absolutely. You would make some sacrifice, but you could definitely do it because some of this stuff is slow anyway. We have quite a few temples in here which come in tapped. You wouldn't get the scry, but you could put in whatever slow mana. Nothing particularly fancy here, but this of course is pretty darn efficient. It is working really well, the mana base. So if you have it, use it. If you don't need it really. I'm just going to take a quick look. We do have a few rare cards in here. There's 2 Triumphant Adventurers, a key card in this deck. We do have a couple of Nadars. These are a great card as well. You can see there's lots of common cards. We do have an Extinction Event single copy. That is rare. And that is it. That is it. So you have 3 rare cards in this entire deck that aren't mana. So I'm calling this a budget deck. I think that's fair. You can manipulate your mana if you don't have that stuff. So this is just an amazing deck. I really was very skeptical about dungeons, but wow, this is rocking it. I don't know if I haven't lost a game. I've only played like 5 or 6 games, but I haven't lost a game yet with this deck. I just threw it together, kind of saw a few dungeon decks and said, hey, I don't need those kind of heavier weight mythic cards in here. We can get this done otherwise. And I was right. So we do have Hama in here, which amazingly is not a rare card. It's a 3-drop. And it allows you to trigger the abilities of rooms when you go into dungeons an additional time. This is legendary. You can only have 1 on the board at a time, but we have 3 of them in the deck. You could try 2, but I like the idea of 3. It's really high impact, especially when you're wrapping up and able to play cards without having to pay their mana cost at the end of the number 1 dungeon. So I will tell you that what I have found I'm doing is I'm going for a quick dungeon, typically the 2nd dungeon that drops a token creature on the battlefield in the 2nd room. I use that because you can get through that quick, and there's a lot of things that happen in here. You benefit from having completed a dungeon, particularly like Cloister Gargoyle becomes a 3/4 with flying when you've completed a dungeon. And this dungeon of Mad Mage is the one that I go for second when I pull up my 2nd dungeon, because it's Mad Wizard's Lair is just awesome. Draw 3 cards, reveal them. You may cast one without paying its mana cost. And if you do have Hama on the battlefield, you do that twice. Okay, the 2nd dungeon does allow you to draw a card at the end, so you'd get to draw 2 cards, which is really awesome. Okay, Barrowin, all these things, like when they enter, a lot of these things have venture into the dungeon as they kind of come on the battlefield. But this guy, you can bring back When it attacks, return up to one creature card with a mana value of 3 or less from your graveyard to your battlefield if you've completed a dungeon. An awesome attribute. We have 3 of them in there. It is legendary. You could go 2, but I do like 3. You could go 2 and put in another Cloister Gargoyle, because this thing almost single-handedly causes decks with flying all kinds of grief. So, yeah, this is a key card, 2-drop, Death Touch, has first strike when it's your turn, so whenever it attacks, venture into the dungeon. So very good, quick card to get the dungeon thing going. You can bring a creature back, venture into the dungeon. This is a hex-proof, and it only allows your opponents to go into the dungeon once per turn, no more. Here's an equipment, single copy of these things. Creature gets +1/+1 whenever it attacks. Go into the dungeon, so you could put that on something that doesn't, like the Barrowan. You know, you could do that. So it becomes a 4/4 because when it attacks, it doesn't go into the dungeon, only when it comes on the battlefield. So there's a lot of that going on. Got some Death Touch dungeon. This is a cool enchantment that is removal, ultra potent if you have completed a dungeon, so it gives -5/-5 instead. And you go into the dungeon when you play it. You have these 3 counter spells that allow you to go into the dungeon. Nadar, again, when it comes on and when it attacks, you access the dungeon, and additionally, when you've completed a dungeon and this is on the battlefield, all of your creatures get +1/+1. What else? We have 3 Heartless Axe for removal. Fly, enchant creature has flying, and whenever this creature does damage, venture into the dungeon. So again, that'd be good on a card like this, or like this, that don't have when they attack, or this. That you access the dungeon. Of course, we have this one extinction event gets us out of tight spots, and I think that's pretty much it. We do have this 1-drop enchantment that gives you a few options going into the dungeon, tapping things, etc. And the Ogre, if at the beginning of your end step a creature died this turn, venture into the dungeon. So there you have it. It's all about the dungeon here, and this works. So I was really surprised because I was not impressed at the look of dungeons, but it's pretty cool. I'm sure there's some things that can kind of, you know, if the opponent's playing a card that eliminates triggered abilities, then you're done. This is not going to go anywhere, but It is a good deck, and it's a budget deck, so get it out there and play it. If you haven't played Dungeons yet, this is worth building and playing. Thanks a ton for watching. Please consider subscribing. Let me know what you think, and have a great day. Take care. Okay, pretty darn good hand here. We're going to keep it. Opponent goes first, which is unfortunate. Okay, let's see what we got here. Yeah, I'm going to bring Fabled on for blue just because I want to have the option of Bar the Gate in a timely way. And we can bring on a black so we have Heartless Act next turn. Okay, 1 down. Okay, they do nothing. Which is going to allow us to stay put for Bar the Gate. Okay, and Bar the Gate. We'll counter the spell and get into the dungeon, which we're going to go for a quick moving dungeon. Lost Mine will be the one. So we scry, and we'll keep the Cloister Gargoyle. And yeah, veteran dungeoneer. We get into the in again here, and we're going to toss up goblin. So we're off and at it here. Temple of Deceit is good. We scry. We definitely will keep that. Now the question is, yeah, we're going to throw up the cloister, which is going to give us the ability to put a +1/+1 on the veteran dungeoneer, and we'll stay put as it can now manage the Leafkin. No attacks. Okay, very nicely done. Okay, I believe we can play both of these. And it's going to be painful for them, because we're going to wrap this up and draw 2 cards, and yeah, twice. Very nice indeed. And we could go flying in. Yeah, and why not? Okay, draw first blood against the Gruul deck, which should be pretty potent and attacking by now, but we've got... Okay, that's a nice play, but we can still kill something with Veteran Dungeoneer. And they've got the ability to pump something up here, so it's a little scary, but we need to remove one of these. Let's see which one is the better card to remove. Okay. Even pumped, it's likely to be going down. That'll preclude this from being able to attack. Whoa, 10. Okay, they're going to kill them both. That's okay. They will actually do 2 damage as well. But I think we're going to be in an advantageous place. Whoa, okay. We're going to do some damage here. Yep. But all is quiet for them at this point. Scry here, yeah, we'll keep that. And having completed a dungeon, we'll be able to just take this out and start a new run at a dungeon. And this one we're going to go big. So we'll gain 2 life. And let's see. Wow, we're going to go absolutely crazy here. We can't equip it yet, but... into the dungeon we go. Yeah, I want to keep that. It's just a good to have a death touch creature out there. And the opponent is in very deep trouble here as they play the Rimrock. With 1 card in hand. We can attach this next turn. We're going to let them come in, as they will be able to pump that. And that may be all they have, and they don't have a blocker. I think it's going to be a fold here. Okay, double the power. That's impressive. Very much so. Target creature can't attack next turn. So they cannot attack next turn. The game is over, folks. Dungeons are looking pretty damn dominant. Okay, we'll keep this. I'm just going to need a white mana somehow. There it is. Excellent. Luminarch up, Luminarch down. That will make them think twice. But right now we're going to go with Nadar and get into the dungeon. Okay, we're rolling in mana. We're actually going to toss that one aside. Ozolith, and they do nothing else, so we're going to go ahead and throw up Hama. And now we're going to do the Goblin Lair twice, as Hama doubles the triggers of accessing the dungeon. And they're just going to fold there, and they were in trouble. But that was a great victory. Okay, good looking hand. We're going to keep this. Okay, the Heartless Axe are coming in very handy at this juncture. And yeah, we got Precipitous Drop available. Okay, gonna do some milling. Interesting combination of things here. I'm gonna sit so we can use part of the gate. Get into the dungeon again, and we're on the verge of completion. looking for them to drop a creature. And here we go. We'll go back into the dungeon and wrap this up. Get to draw a card. Heartless Act. Unbelievable. Okay. Now is a flyer. And we'll go big here since we've already attained one dungeon and we're rolling right through here with the Triumphant Adventurer. And yeah, we'll take that too. What a bargain for a 3-drop at this point. And we have Heartless Act available, so we're in very good shape. And they're going to fold. Powerful dungeon showing right there. Okay, we're going to keep this. A little bit scary as we're just going to have to go black here. You can get the Triumphant Adventurer on next turn. Okay, no more mana, which is a bit of a problem. Adventurer on, we need it to remain on. Okay. Excellent, we get mana, so we're in great shape there, and we're going to go right ahead and come on in. It's got first strike and it's our turn. We'll get into a dungeon. We'll take the mana. Now we're going to sit so we can use Bar the Gate if they try to play a creature. They do, and we'll access the dungeon again as we counter that spell. Okay, that is a problem. Okay, we're going to sit so we can counter again. Back into the dungeon. This is going to pay off for us. Draw a card. We've completed a dungeon, so now the Cloister Gargoyle will come on as a flying 3/4. We're going to go big here. We have Hama in hand. We scry. We'll take the land. Okay, yeah, they got the good flyers going here, but Baneslayer comes on. Okay, that is a problem. Okay. We're going to keep the bar of the gate back. They do have exile. So they're going to get rid of this, but we're going to go do some damage first. So we'll be able to keep Baneslayer from, keep anything from attacking their next turn, so that's just great. So he's going to die here. Oh, he's not. He is going to die. He gives up Baneslayer. Most incredible. Okay, and they're going to exile a permanent. It'll probably be this. I don't know if that's really worth it, but probably. I think what we're going to do here is bring out Yuan Tifang, as we're interested in proceeding through this dungeon. Okay. There are lots of flyers there. And we do get this, so let's see, 3, 2, 4, so 3, 3, 3. So yeah, we're going to run Extinction Event here. And we just lose the token. They lose 2 of their creatures. And we'll bring on Yuan Ti, which will trigger twice with the Scry. We're going to ditch both of those, see what we come up with. Don't need that, and don't need that, so we're going to scry all 4 cards down. And we're going to spend the big spell on Yuating, and we get to bring something back and venture into it. Wow, okay, ultra powerful here. Let's see what we got. Triumphant, yeah, we got to go there. And that gets us into the dungeon, so let's see. Okay, yeah, we're going to go ahead and put on a land for sure. We get to do this again. We put on Yuati and Triumphant Adventurer. And we do nothing here. Okay, pretty well stocked, and they've only got 2 cards, one of them a mana. And that's impressive, and we'll just have to let that come in. Okay, they draw cards. That's pretty impressive. And they throw that right up. Alright, so we want to keep Bar the Gate intact. Getting close here with this. We'll attack with these 2. I'm just going to wrap up this. Nothing we can bring back with Barrowin at this point. So we're going to bring up Nadar. Do a lot of scrying here. Precipitous Drop looks good, Fly looks good. Get rid of that. See what we get. Temple of Enlightenment. We're going to ditch it. Okay, we'll just stay put. And we're not going to do anything further except attack with these 2, which are big trouble for them because this creature dies if it blocks and both stay alive. So we're just going to go for it. Yeah, we'll bring in Hama too, why not? And now we get to play something. And we're going to kill that. And that's the game. They're going to fold. And that is how you become a dungeon master.